The 1960s were packed with unforgettable flavors and some truly bizarre creations. From wobbly Jell-O stuffed with vegetables to a salad shaped like a candle, to space snacks developed for real NASA astronauts, American dinner tables were a wild ride. These dishes weren't just weird, they were beloved. Families served them with pride, and kids grew up thinking it was all perfectly normal. Today, most have vanished. But once you see what we were eating, you might just want a taste of the past. Number 1, Jell O Salad. If you grew up in the 1960s, chances are you saw at least one Jell O salad wobbling on a dinner table. And it wasn't always sweet. Picture a lime green gelatin mold packed with shredded carrots, chopped celery, or even canned tuna. Sometimes it was fruity and fun. Other times it was downright confusing. But back then, this strange combination of sweet and savory was the height of culinary creativity. Every family had their own secret recipe, often served at potlucks, holidays, or church dinners. It was cheap to make, colorful to look at, and weirdly satisfying to eat. Jell O salad came to represent more than just a dish. It was a symbol of American homemaking and mid-century flair. As food trends changed, it slowly disappeared from modern tables. But for those who remember, nothing says the 60s quite like a jiggly ring of Jell-O filled with surprises.
Space food sticks! Oh, I wish I had these on my space adventure.
Number 2, space food sticks. Before protein bars filled every gas station shelf, there were space food sticks. These chewy, tube-shaped snacks were created in the 1960s by Pillsbury. Yes, the same folks who made crescent rolls for NASA's astronauts. The goal? Compact, nutritious, no-crumb fuel for space missions. But it didn't take long for kids on Earth to want a taste of the future, too. Space food sticks came in flavors like peanut butter, caramel, and chocolate, and they felt like science fiction in your lunchbox. Smooth, dense, and slightly rubbery, they weren't exactly candy, but they weren't boring either. For a generation obsessed with rockets and moon landings, eating like an astronaut felt magical. A pack cost just 25 cents, making them an affordable thrill. Though they quietly vanished in the decades that followed, space food sticks remain a nostalgic reminder of when space travel wasn't just a dream, it was snack time.
Sorry, Doc, we only serve Tang here.
Tang? What's that?
Number 3, Tang. No 1960s breakfast was complete without a glass of Tang. The bright orange drink that promised more vitamin C than orange juice, and a whole lot more excitement. Originally developed in the late 1950s, Tang rocketed to fame when NASA astronauts drank it during the Gemini space missions. Suddenly, every kid in America wanted to sip like a spaceman. Just add water and stir, and you had a citrusy blast of futuristic flavor. It came in a canister with a satisfying pop-top lid, and for just 35 cents, families could bring a bit of the space age into their kitchen. Tang wasn't just a drink, it was a symbol of modern living, wrapped in powdered form. Sure, it was a little artificial. Okay, maybe very artificial, but that was part of the fun. Today, Tang still exists, but it's far from its glory days, when every breakfast table felt one small sip closer to the stars. Number 4, candle salad. Yes, this was real. And yes, it was served to children. The candle salad was a bizarre little number that somehow became a staple of 1960s cookbooks and school lunches. It started with a ring of pineapple, topped with a standing banana, and finished with a dollop of whipped cream at the top, meant to resemble a flickering candle. That's right, it was meant to be festive, fun, maybe even a little fancy. But let's be honest, it looked questionable. Still, in an era when presentation mattered just as much as taste, candle salad was considered clever, even cute. It usually appeared at holiday gatherings or on special weeknight dinners, offering a healthy-ish dessert option that kids could help assemble. The ingredients were simple, the cost was low, and the result, unforgettable, for better or worse. While it may have vanished from menus, candle salad lives on in the memories of every kid who side-eyed it from across the plate. Number 5, Spam Wellington. Yes, Spam got the royal treatment in the 1960s. Inspired by the classic beef Wellington, this budget-friendly twist wrapped a slab of Spam in puff pastry, sometimes with a smear of mustard or mushroom soup, and baked it to golden perfection. The result? A crispy, salty, savory surprise that made weeknight dinners feel just a little more elegant. While traditional Wellington was reserved for fancy occasions, Spam Wellington brought that flair to the everyday table. Home cooks loved it for its simplicity, low cost, and wow factor when sliced. For just a few dollars, you could serve something that looked impressive, tasted familiar, and fed the whole family. It may sound strange today, but back then, this was peak creative cooking. And for many, it proved that even canned meat could wear a tuxedo, if only for dinner. Number 6, Jellied Hamburger Loaf. This one takes some explaining. In the 1960s, home cooks weren't afraid to experiment, and that led to creations like the Jellied Hamburger Loaf. Imagine ground beef cooked and seasoned, then suspended in a clear gelatin mold. Sometimes it was shaped into a loaf pan, other times into rings or domes. Served cold, sliced like meatloaf, and often paired with crackers or bread, this was seen as both efficient and elegant. Gelatin was the miracle ingredient of the era. If you could mold it, you could serve it, and somehow someone decided that beef belonged in it. It wasn't always a hit with the kids, but for cocktail parties or buffet spreads, the Jellied Hamburger Loaf made a curious centerpiece. Today, it's more of a punchline than a recipe, but it reminds us of a time when creativity ruled the kitchen, no matter how odd the outcome. Number 7, Ambrosia Salad. In the 1960s, no holiday table was complete without a bowl of Ambrosia Salad. This colorful mix of canned mandarin oranges, pineapple chunks, mini marshmallows, coconut, and maraschino cherries was topped with whipped cream, or sometimes cottage cheese or sour cream, depending on the family recipe. Sweet, tangy, and a little bit strange, it was considered a light dessert or a fancy side dish. The name Ambrosia came from Greek mythology, the food of the gods, and for many, it lived up to that name. It was easy to make, looked festive, and tasted like a tropical daydream. Sure, it may not win any awards for balance or nutrition, but it brought smiles to the table. These days, Ambrosia is mostly forgotten, but for those who grew up with it, that first sweet bite is unforgettable. Number 8, cream chipped beef on toast. Known lovingly, or not, as SOS, creamed chipped beef on toast was classic comfort food in the 1960s. It started with thin slices of dried beef, rehydrated and stirred into a rich white sauce made from butter, flour, and milk. The creamy mixture was then poured generously over toasted white bread, creating a salty, savory meal that stuck to your ribs. Popular in military mess halls and home kitchens alike, it was cheap, filling, and easy to make. Perfect for families on a budget. The flavor was bold, the texture was hearty, and the look? Well, let's just say it wasn't winning beauty contests. Still, for those who grew up with it, SOS wasn't just a dish, it was a taste of home. And sometimes that's the only seasoning you really need. Number 9, Tuna Noodle Casserole. In the 1960s, Tuna Noodle Casserole was the king of convenience cooking. With just a few pantry staples, canned tuna, egg noodles, and cream of mushroom soup, you had a hot, filling dinner in one dish. Topped with crushed potato chips or breadcrumbs for crunch, it offered a comforting mix of creamy and crispy that families loved. It was budget-friendly, easy to stretch, and perfect for busy weeknights or potluck gatherings. No frills, no fancy ingredients, just a warm, satisfying meal that brought everyone to the table. Though it's far less common today, Tuna Noodle Casserole remains a nostalgic classic for many who remember it, bubbling away in a Pyrex dish on Mom's kitchen counter. Number 10, Tuna Berry Sandwich. Yes, this was a real thing. In the 1960s, creative lunch ideas sometimes went a little too far, and the Tuna Berry Sandwich is proof. It combined tuna salad with chopped strawberries or cranberry sauce, all tucked between slices of bread. Some versions even added mayonnaise or cream cheese to pull it together. The idea was to mix savory protein with sweet, fruity brightness, a bold experiment in flavor fusion. It wasn't exactly mainstream, but it showed up in cookbooks and school cafeterias, usually met with raised eyebrows. Today, it sounds like a dare, but back then, it was just another example of how the 60s pushed culinary boundaries, one questionable bite at a time. From jiggly salads to space-age snacks, the 1960s gave us some unforgettable and sometimes unbelievable foods. Some of these dishes deserve a comeback. Others, maybe they're best left in the past. But each one tells a story of family dinners, school lunches, and the way America once gathered around the table. Which one brought back memories for you? And what did we miss? Drop your favorites in the comments. And until next time, here's to the flavors of a forgotten America.